Hello everybody, it's Pineapple here, back with another video. And so it is Banlist season, and you know what that means. It is nice, fun, free, easy content for me. And we get to have a lot of fun discussions about the ban list, what's going to happen to it, wish lists, reactions, etc., etc. You've all been through Banlist season before. And today I thought I'd put, my predictions out there, what I think is going to happen. Because this Banlist season is very interesting. The list of problem cards are very easy to identify, and they should, in theory, be very easy to hit on a ban list, but we'll just hop right into it. For ban cards, first up, Eradicator. This card has been shown off pretty much as Mystic Mind about why it shouldn't be around in the format, not just because of the lab, but specifically because of how it interacts with Kashtira, as well as a bunch of other decks, where it just creates these non-games, Erad for 4, whether it's by lab. It was shown off in the North America World Qualifiers. Kashtira is playing this card in the side. Any deck that can put, a Dark Monster with 2,500 or more attack is playing Erad. Dragon Link is playing it. Literally every deck is playing it that can feasibly play it. So, obviously this card has to go. It is well past its time in the sun. I hope that Konami takes Harpy's Feather Duster with it, but I doubt they will. They aren't that nice. But that said, get rid of Erad. No one is, losing sleep over this card. I will miss, beating Harpy's Feather Duster, but Erad's got to go. The other card I think for main deck monsters that's going to go is D-Shifter. I think they're going to ban it. I really hope they're going to ban it. If not, they'll probably limit it because, they're cruel. But Shifter is just such a frustrating blowout card that creates so many non-games. Macrocosmos is just such an unfun effect. The fact that it's a hand trap macro is just so obnoxious. Cards that create non-games, I think it's been demonstrated that Shifter is one of those cards. It either instantly wins you the game or it does literally nothing. No sleep will be lost over D-Shifter. Hopefully it's banned. I really think they're going to. I think Konami has shown a willingness to hit problem cards even if they have not, touched them previously. And I really think they are going to hit Shifter. I hope and pray that they do. Because this card is just not fun. There is nothing that is added to the format by Shifter. There's nothing that is gained, and there will be nothing lost by removing it. So I think they will hit it. I really hope they will hit it. Hot Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity. This card, just with the existence of Crimson Dragon, shouldn't exist. As the Thought is banned for a reason. Please keep him banned, and take his synchro friend with him, especially with Crimson Dragon tagging along with him. This card is ripe for a banning. If it's not this list, it will be next list because this card is just begging to be taken advantage of. Whether it's in Vanadium or Centurion, this card is just, it should not exist. It's as simple as that. I think they're going to preemptively ban it. They have been shown a willingness to make preemptive hits with Pearly and Super Heavy Sam, before they really got their time in the sun. So please take this card out behind the shed. No one will cry. No one will miss it. And then Arise Harp. This card is a dead card walking. I think it's very obvious. The fact that they put it to 1 really shows that, he's on the chopping block and the correct hit, by the way. The Macro Dryden should not exist, even if he's 3 level 7s. Just no one is going to be mourning the loss of Macro Dryden. I certainly won't. I would hope you wouldn't either, but, if you like Kashtira, I suppose you would mourn the loss of Arise Heart. Really cool looking card, does something really cool with its attach effect. I like the deck building design that it encourages you to play Infinitrack Goliath and, Skullmate. But that said, this card just is so strong and so oppressive and so format warping that, like Masterpiece, it's gotta go. He's just gotta get out of here. But moving on to Limited, a bunch of them. I think they're going to limit. Like Blue, like they just don't want Sprite to be in the format anymore. I'm a little sick of Sprite as well. I wouldn't mind seeing it go. So, Blue's a pretty reasonable hit for the grind. Same with Starter. Just, 2 Sprite hits that they can do without killing the deck that, will prevent it from being seen as more than an engine, most likely. I think they're going to do something to Sprite. I'm not sure I want them to, but I just see them doing it. Fountain, I think that, again, like Sprite, they don't want to see Runic around, and Fountain to 1 really, stops the oppressive and frustrating stuff about Runic, which is when they draw 6 cards with like Jerry and stuff. So hopefully, we see Fountain to 1. I think we will. I'm fairly confident. Kashtira Birth. This card is like one of the most frustrating parts of Kashtira, and I think putting it to 1 would, help alleviate that pain, that misery, just the recursive. Oh, you cleared the board. Anyways, Birth for Unicorn, just so frustrating. This card's ridiculous. I think putting it to 1 is necessary if they don't ban a Rise Art. I think they will. It's clearly like one of the problem cards in Kashtira, just for the grind game, and having to deal with multiple copies of Birth is just an immensely frustrating prospect. Prosperity, this card is broken. I won't pretend like it's not. I love Prosperity. I love playing it in Lab specifically, because digging for Ariana, digging for a board breaker, digging for whatever it is, keep getting to choose what you banish out of your extra is just so strong. And so I think putting this card to 1 isn't unreasonable. I think they might. I also think they might not, because they haven't had a chance to reprint it at, a lower rarity, really milk us for our money. But I do think they will put this to 1. And lastly, in the main deck, Skill Drain. Skill Drain is just a card that I don't think they're going to want to exist. Again, you don't really have to hit any of the Lab cards in order to fix Lab as a problem. All of the problem cards in Lab do not have Labyrinth in the name. They're named Skill Drain Gozen, Eradicator, D-Barrier. And those cards are independently bannable, and should not exist in their own right. But I don't think they're going to ban Skill Drain. I think they're going to put it to 1 again, which they should. It's better than nothing, I suppose. I'm not I wouldn't be happy, but I don't see them banning it. I see them putting it to 1 because, again, we aren't that lucky. But I do think this card goes back to 1. And lastly, in the extra deck, I think X Pearly Noir. And this is just like, they have shown they do not like Pearly, and my prediction is they will continue to not like Pearly. I don't like Pearly, but that's mostly just because I don't like words that have the text unaffected on it, regardless of what condition is attached to it. And I think that they're going to hit the grind this time instead of the consistency. And the fact that, you can make like 2 copies of Noir is like a huge ceiling hit, as well as just the ability to, help, curb the power level and frustration of having to play through 2 Noirs is significantly different than, 1 Noir. Obviously, this would leave it more vulnerable to a Unicorn, but, you should just understand not to, give them a Unicorn activation. I get that that's a frustrating thing to deal with, but again, I see them hitting either the ceiling or they're going to hit the consistency. They might hit Sleepy, but I see them hitting Noir. That's what I see as the correct hit. I could be wrong, but moving on to unbanned, I got a bunch. Harp should obviously come back. There's no reason for it to not do. In every other format, it is legal at like 2 or 3 copies, and Orcus does absolutely nothing. I would go so far as to say you could unban Mermaid as long as you ban Nightmare Corruptor Ibali. But I'm a crazy person, so take that with a grain of salt. But I do truly believe you can unban Harp and nothing is going to change. Orcus is a cool deck. Bring back Harp. Next up, I don't want to say this, but there's this feeling at the back of my mind, in the pit of my gut, that says Masterpiece will be back, and I'm not happy about it. But there's this little voice in my head that says they're going to unban Masterpiece. This isn't based on anything that I've heard, seen, or done, or anything that I think should happen. It is literally solely based on that little voice in my head that says Masterpiece is going to come back. I don't think he should. I don't want him to, but there's just that little gut feeling. So, my prediction is Masterpiece to 1, unfortunately. And then the other Dragon Rulers. We haven't gotten these back in Master Duel or in the OCG yet, but I think you can unban them. I think they will unban them. I think the showing of Tidal or Blaster doing nothing is going to lead Konami to just release them at 1. They're cool cards. Free them. There's no reason for these guys to still be banned. Let them roam free. They're cool cards. I'm totally fine with them being in the format. These are like my childhood nostalgia, so free my boys. And then MX Saber Invoker. His hit is fairly obvious. He's been freed in the OCG. He was just freed in Master Duel. I think he's free. It is going to be September 1st tomorrow, so he'll be legal to play tomorrow. And so I think it's fairly obvious this card's going to come back. This is a no-brainer. Anything that gets freed in the OCG and then has been freed in Master Duel has then been freed in the TCG. The only example of this is Blaster and AFD. But AFD was pretty obvious because it got an errata. This card is coming back. I think it's fairly obvious to say that. and there is nothing that's really hiding it. Again, just to recap on bans, don't want Masterpiece, but something just tells me he will be. Harp should have been freed, like a year and a half ago. And the Dragon Rulers are fine. They don't do anything. Redox is just a Vernisylph. He's actually a worse Vernisylph because, you don't get the bonus effect, which is either a Foolish, Ascend, an Add, etc., etc. And Title is just Foolish Burial. And you can tell me all about Title, Discard, Enchantress. And I will just laugh at you because, there's 1,000 other combos because what are you even going to Foolish Burial off of Title? But that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this little prediction fun video. I certainly enjoyed making it. We'll have a wish list out tomorrow, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.